Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dude with a Fork. My name is Ken. On today's episode of Ken Cooks Stuff, I am making stuffed shells. They are warm, they are delicious, they're filled with cheese and vegetables, and they're a lot of work. You make a lot of bowls dirty, but it's worth it in the end. You do get a lot of food out of this. So, first thing we need to do is get our ingredients together. So, let's get started. All right, so here are all the ingredients that we need, and this table is not level, so these things will roll if I move them. But anyway, what we need is a pound of Italian sausage. You can use your favorite, mild or hot. If you want hot and they don't have that, you can just add red pepper flakes to this, and I might add a few into this. This is frozen, so I'm going to have to thaw it out. You need jumbo shells. You're going to need. See, I told you it was going to move. You're going to need 18 of these guys, which is half of a 12-ounce box. I actually counted what came in here. You should have 36. There were 42. So, but we're going to cook 18 of these. I'm going to have 6 left over that I need to figure out what to do with. So we're also going to need 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese, shredded and divided, because some will go in the filling, some will go on top. I've gotten into this already, so I've got some provolone cheese I'm going to fill this out with. We're going to need pasta sauce. This is a 24-ounce jar. This is Regano from Aldi. Some of this will go in the filling. Some will go in the bottom of the pan to prevent things from sticking, and some will go on top as well. I've got a large, this is an 8-ounce can of fresh, not fresh, canned mushroom stems and pieces. I used a small can the first time I made this. I'm like, that's not enough mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you can leave these out, or you can put even more in. But I'm going to drain these and chop these up a little bit finer. But I'm going to save that liquid, because that liquid will go back into the sauce. Also for the filling, we're going to need an onion. We're going to need a green pepper. We are going to need some spices. I have a teaspoon of Italian seasoning here, half a teaspoon of fennel seed, 4 teaspoons of crushed garlic. That's roughly 3 to 4 cloves. And in the filling is also going to go a cup of cottage cheese, along with this cottage cheese, and half a cup of Parmesan cheese. So this is kind of a sausage and cheese stuffing. So the first thing I have to do is cook these jumbo shells. And there's an easy way to do this that I'm going to show you. So I'll meet you over at the stove, and we'll get these guys cooking. See you there. Okay, here's the easy way to cook any kind of pasta. What I have here is a pot of water that is at a rolling boil. I actually had it on medium-high just to get it to the boil. I'm turning it down to medium right now. And so what I'm going to do is just take my pasta and get it in there. And this works with just about everything. But you do want to make sure to get these all under the water. These guys are like little boats, and they will float. And when you add pasta to water, it's starchy, so it wants to stick together. This is especially true in the case of macaroni. So I'm going to get that lid back on there. This is still on medium heat. And we're just going to wait for this to come to a boil. And we want it back at a full rolling boil, which means no matter how much you go in there and stir it, it doesn't go away. That's a full rolling boil. See, we're not there yet. We'll give it about a minute. Okay, so here is our full rolling boil. Notice if I stir that, okay, it comes right back to the boil right away. What we're going to do is put this lid on here and turn this off. And we're just going to let this sit here. Pasta, normal pasta, like macaroni and such, this will sit for about 14 minutes, and then it'll be perfectly done. Shells are a little bit thicker, so we're going to let this sit for about 20 minutes, which is about as long as it takes to make the filling. And then we'll come back and drain it. So see you in a bit when we're cooking up the filling. Okay, so you can see here we have browned up our sausage. It was still frozen, so this took me a little bit longer than I would have liked. So I am going to go in with all of our green peppers. And I'll get all of those out in a second here. And all of our onions. And we're just going to give these a quick stir into this mix and let it cook. I'm over medium heat. right now. So I'm going to get the rest of those out of there. All right, so here we are. Our onions and green peppers have cooked, so I am going to add our spices. I've got Italian seasoning here, and I've got, that was a teaspoon of that and half a teaspoon of fennel seed, which I should have lightly crushed, but it's okay. If you make this with ground beef, double those amounts, okay? And I just want to get those mixed in with the fat because their flavors are fat soluble. So I always say, I've got a list somewhere, and I should put it on my website, of which herbs and spices are fat soluble and water soluble. That way you know where to add them in your cooking for maximum flavor. So I've got those in there. I'm going to go in with my garlic, which has a bit of mozzarella cheese on top, because I was shredding mozzarella cheese while this was happening. And I'm going to get that mixed in thoroughly. And I want to be careful so that this garlic does not burn, because burned garlic is very bitter. And that's why I saved out the liquid from the mushrooms, just in case I have to go in and just calm things down a little bit. That's what we have. So this seemed to me like a lot of peppers and onions, and I always have to remind myself, oh yeah, these things just cook way down. All right, so I am going to add in some of this liquid here and turn this back up to high a little bit because I want that flavor. I don't want to throw away that flavor. That's a lot of flavor, and I don't understand why people follow recipes that say just throw that away. It's salt, but you notice I'm not adding any salt to this at any point. It does not need it. So I'm going to let that cook off a little bit and then add in the mushrooms, and then I have to let this cool a little bit because we need to add some cheese to it. So in the meantime, our shells have perfectly cooked, and you can see here they are nice and flexible, but they're not in any risk of falling apart. And that was after sitting there for 20 minutes, and then I drained them. I have them in a colander that I placed the colander just back inside the pot that they're in, and put the lid on it just so that they don't dry out. So I'm going to let this cook, and then I have to let it cool just a little bit because we're going to add some other stuff to it, including the mushrooms. And then, yeah, so next time I see you, this will be in a bowl. And then we'll start stuffing things. This is a complicated recipe, which is why I do not make it very often. So see you in a little bit. All right, so here's our filling. I added the mushrooms, stirred them all in. I put it in this bowl and put it in the fridge for about 10-15 minutes because we just don't want things to be explosively off the stove hot. So we're going to go in with our other ingredients. So here is, I need 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese, and this was 4.6 that I had left. This is the 2 ounces that's going to go on top. That's about half a cup. We want a cup and a half total, so I didn't have a cup and a half total. So I just took some of that provolone cheese, like I said, and just used my $4 cheese knife and just cut it into little bits. So we're going to, I didn't need to separate these. I'm just showing you. That's what I did. I just cut them up. Sometimes I don't feel like shredding things, and if it's already sliced, you can just cut it up like that, and it works just fine in a recipe like this. We also have, just going to mix this in a little bit, mix it as we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, this part's the easy part. So this pasta sauce here, I have measured out 1 full cup, and I will scoop, 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 scoop. And if it seems like, well, we're not using much of that pasta sauce, we will be. We'll use the rest of that up. I also have, this is just a lot of stirring at this point. I also have half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and yes, this is just the stuff out of the green can. I didn't have the fancy shredded stuff, so you go with what you got. I already had this in the fridge. So, and then our last one is a cup of cottage cheese, and you see there's a little bit of pepper on here because I grabbed a spoonful to taste it. Because I love cottage cheese, and if there's cottage cheese sitting around, I'm going to eat it. So, yeah, so put a little bit of pepper on it, and we are good to go. So, yeah, now we need to do is mix this up and stuff our shells. And that's relatively a straightforward process. We're probably going to have more filling than we need to fill 18 of those, and I'll show you what we do with that. Back here, if you look, though, I do have 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese and that half cup of mozzarella. That will go on top before we bake it. So I will be back in a little bit, and once I get this all mixed up, and show you how we fill these. Okay, so what you can do is do this in a 9x13 pan, and I am not going to cook this in the oven. I'm going to cook this in my toaster oven. So I have these 2 little mini pans, and together they are the equivalent of a 9x13 pan. So if you're using a 9x13 pan, what you would do next is put half a cup of pasta sauce in the bottom of your pan. Since I have 2 of these, I'm putting a 1/4 cup in each one. And I am just going to spread that around a bit in each one. And this is what's going to keep things from sticking. So now I am doing this with a light and a camera in the way. So this is going to seem a little clumsy to me. But hopefully everything looks okay. All right, because I do not have a big kitchen. I have seen shoeboxes that are bigger than this kitchen. So there we go. All right, so I'm going to get this guy out of the way. And I've got a couple of pieces of foil over there that are ready to go. And I will just zoom you in here a little bit so you can see what this actually looks like. And I'm just going to grab a shell. And again, you can see here, they're nice and flexible. And I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to get a nice big spoon here. And I am just going to fill that pretty full. We have a lot of filling here. Okay. So I'm going to put him in here in this corner diagonally, just like that. They're going to want to fall over at first, but once you get all 9 of them in there, everything will be great. So I'm going to go ahead and get both of these pans filled, and I'll do that with the camera out of the way and the light off because it's blazing hot in here. And then you will see what this looks like. I'll show you when we're done. So back in a minute. All right, so this is a little different than how I usually do it because I do it in 2 pans. I'll fill one, put this guy in the toaster oven, and then fill this. So I filled both of these. I do have a little bit of filling left over, and I fully admit, I was not in the least bit shy about stuffing these guys. These giant shells, these jumbo shells, are a thicker pasta. So if you don't put a lot of filling in there, you're getting a lot of pasta, which is fine if you like a lot of pasta. But I don't like the thicker pasta as much as just regular pasta. So I do have some extra filling left over, and I'm just going to tuck it into little nooks and crannies where I see nooks and crannies. And yeah, that's it. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have... That is a supremely annoying sound, scraping out a metal bowl with a metal spoon. So anyway, I don't know if you've noticed, I've gotten a lot of bowls dirty. You go through a lot of bowls on this one. So now what we have left is our Parmesan cheese, our mozzarella cheese, and our sauce. And so I'm going to get roughly... I'm just going to start spreading this evenly over everything. I just want to keep everything nice and covered. So there's a 1/4 cup there. I'll just divide this up as evenly as I can between the 2 pans. There we go, there's that. And here's a 1/4 cup over here. And I just want to make sure everything gets kind of a nice saucy appearance. And yeah, I mean, you could have put more sauce in the filling if you wanted, but it gets a bit too thin. You'll notice one thing, I did not put an egg in this. And that's partly because these don't have to stand up on their own, because they're in a shell shape, so they don't have to be like a meatball or something that's not going to fall apart. And partly just because eggs are so doggone expensive. My gosh. Yeah. So anyway, so there's all of our sauce. There's a little bit in the jar. I'll go back and get it out off camera. Y'all have seen people shake stuff out of a jar before. So here's our mozzarella. This is our half cup. And of course, you can adjust how much you put. If you want more mozzarella, go for more mozzarella. And if you want less mozzarella, go for less mozzarella. I'm not a super big fan of melted cheese that gets stringy like this. I am not the person ordering extra cheese on a pizza. So I am not going real super heavy with the mozz here. And I figured there's plenty on the inside as well. So, but yeah, there we go. And here's our Parmesan. And that's super easy. And this has good flavor as well. And you notice I said earlier I didn't add any salt to this. Well, cheese is plenty salty. And we're using jarred pasta sauce, and that's usually fairly salty too. So I am just going to get the rest of this on here. No need to be fancy or precious. Just get it on there. Yeah, so I have to go count all the bowls. Now, what I am going to do is bake this in a 350 oven. I'm going to hit the foil with a little bit of Pam, which is in the cabinet right in front of this tripod. So I'll do that off camera, throw these in the oven, and we'll come back when they are done. They're going to go in a 350 oven, 25, 30 minutes until everything is nice and heated through, the cheese is melted. That'll give me just about enough time to wash the 10 million bowls that I have gotten dirty. So if you're still with me at this point, thank you. So it's been a long process. This is a work-intensive dish. This is why a labor-intensive dish. I don't make it all that often. So anyway, back in a little bit. Give me about 45 minutes. All right, it's been about 30 minutes in the toaster oven. I will tell you one thing. I'm going to take the foil off here. It's hot and steamy. These just look amazing. These little glass dishes, it's a little bit easier to get them in and out of the toaster oven if you put them on this metal tray that came with the toaster oven. So these have to sit for about 15 minutes because they are scorching hot and they will just completely fall apart on you. So I'm going to get a couple in a little bit. I'm going to get a couple on a plate. I have to go into the office tomorrow, and so I need to bring a lunch. So I also have this soup bowl that I've had for ages, and I'm just going to plop a couple of those in there as well. You put the lid on this, you pop this up here like that, and put it in the microwave, and they'll get hot in like a minute. But this keeps it from splattering all over inside the microwave and makes your coworkers not get mad at you. So perfect. So see you over at the table. All right. And there they are. Just look at them. They're gorgeous. The nice thing about doing this method is you do get extra sauce that, seeps in around the corners. So we're just going to go in there and try a bit of this. Let's see what we think. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh, my goodness. Yes. So, oh, look at that. Everything's just perfectly cooked. The flavors are amazing. Use your favorite pasta sauce. Now, there's just enough melted cheese there to make me happy, but not too much. So, yeah, use your favorite pasta sauce with this. I just used Aldi's brand. Oh, come on, cheese. I just used Aldi's because I'm perfectly satisfied with that. But yeah, if you like Rayo's or something, yeah, go for that. But oh, this is so good. I got 18 of these. So vegetable on the side, some bread, a salad. 2 of these will feed an average adult, and so you're getting 9 servings out of this, which is it's a lot of work, but you are getting a lot of food out of it. So, Oh, that is so good. That is just amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna go get a glass of wine or something and finish this. So thank you so much for watching. Please make these, and if you do, let me know what you think. Thanks.
And that's it, folks. As always, thank you so much for watching. Links to free printable copies of any recipes here are down below in the show notes. Please like, comment, or if you'd like to see more of this kind of material, subscribe. As always, please stay safe, eat great food, and power to the proletariat. We'll see you next time.